Hi everybody, my name is Nydia and I just started this channel and so I wanted to introduce myself to you. It's called Non-Dual Happenings, so it's about what happens with non-duality. And I've watched a lot of videos and things about people that have had non-dual experiences and non-dual speakers and things like that. And I find them helpful, but at the same time I find that um, there's a lot of people wanting to know, or they ask questions about what happens after this experience, which didn't really happen, but what happens. And most of the speakers come back that um, it's just what's happening. Nothing changes and it is just how it is. But there is a lot of truth in that. It really, nothing actually does change. But there's some changes within that can be expressed in our daily lives. But our life is what it is. So this channel is going to show you my life, what happens day to day. I did have a non-dual experience. I had two. My first one was a hard awakening, and I was struggling with a medical condition, and it was getting really, really bad, and to the point where I had been in and out of the hospitals, and they couldn't really figure out what was wrong. And one day I was in my room, and my blood pressure was very, very high. So I went and laid down, and I was worried I might have a stroke or something. So in that moment, I had kind of what you would say is like a near-death experience. I've heard some people describe something similar to what happened to me, and they call it a near-death experience. So I had like a life review. I had all of that, but none of it was to judge me. It was just to love me, to show me all the places where I had shown love to others and how my life had been up to that point. And within me was a lot of love that I was enveloped in love. It was just all love, and I knew I didn't want to die because I had a daughter that was pretty young at the time. So I begged God. At the time I was a Christian. I begged God to let me stay and live my life. And so that happened, and I was awakened to love, and I was a much more loving person than I had been, and I was awakened by my heart, and a lot of changes happened. I like with most awakenings, your life kind of gets a lot better, but at the same time falls apart, and that's what ended up happening to me. So I had this immense love, and yet things were falling away from me. But that's just how this works. Anyway, forward many years later, not many as I'm not that old, but let's say 10 years later, I had another experience, and that's the experience I'll be kind of discussing in these videos. And that was another hard awakening, but it wasn't just a hard awakening. It was a awakening to the true reality, basically, of what we are, what we're not, and what really is. Okay, so that I will be sharing on this channel. But it won't just be sharing about these apparent awakenings that don't really happen. If you have knowledge of non-duality, you know that there is not the self. There isn't a person. There isn't anybody. So that's what I mean by that. But I will go into that later on in my channel. But I wanted to kind of just introduce myself to you. And I'm in bed right now. I thought about how I was going to do this first video. And I thought, okay, I can, do my hair and sit and do the video like I would have in the past. I haven't really been on YouTube, but I worked doing video calls and stuff like that when I was doing therapy, helping other families and things like that. So I thought, well, I'll approach this kind of like a job. I'll get dressed and sit in front of the camera and talk. But as I was in bed today, I just thought my channel is not just going to be about what non-duality is or what happened with me, but more about the happenings that happen after. Because I notice a lot of people are very curious and ask the speakers a lot of times questions such as, do you still have fights with your spouse? Do you still eat certain foods? Do you still get angry? Do you still have emotions? And yes, all of that still happens. Some things relax, or some things don't really show up anymore, but they can. And the majority of life is exactly the same, but with different eyes. Okay, so with a different perspective, without the veil, as they say, covering what really is. So I will be showing some of my daily life things or sharing stories of things that happen. Okay, so so as I was in bed thinking about how I would do this video, I said, you know what, I'm going to just go ahead and let Source speak, and speak how it is naturally and organically. So I don't have my hair done. This isn't how I would normally appear at work or anywhere like that. But this is actually how I am when I'm at home. Don't have my hair done. I just put it up in a bun, as you can see. And this is how I am. So I wanted to share that with you. And I'm in bed, where actually I spend a lot of my time. I work, writing and doing things. And I've set myself a little office. I've set up a little office and things like that, but I don't ever spend a lot of time there. So this is where I'm at right now. The other place I spend a lot of time is outside, and I'll probably do some videos out there sometime. But yeah, I wanted to introduce myself, and I hope that this resonates with you, and you can come to this space and really see and maybe hopefully understand a little bit about non-duality. And it's not that without the self I don't eat anymore, I don't take care of myself, I don't do what I need to do. Everything still happens exactly the same. Some choices are made and things like that where maybe they wouldn't have been made that way before. And that's because I just have a different perspective on things. But everything normally happens. So with my channel, the way that I came to non-duality was, like I said, I had that heart's awakening. But I still remained a Christian. I still believed everything that I believed. I still had all my beliefs and dogmas and preferences to this and that and biases and all of that. And I lived like that, but from a different space, more of a heart space. But I still deal with a lot of neurosis, anxiety, problems like that. And then through a very kind of chance experience, I met somebody that showed me true love, true unconditional love. And it was very, very wonderful, magical. It was just amazing. And that relationship actually mirrors what it is to have the non-dual experience. So speakers will talk about their experience in different ways. Some don't like to discuss it. But I will discuss it here and there because I think there is different avenues and people are on different paths. Everybody's on their own path. My path, while I didn't know it then, was the twin flame path. And I had no clue what that was. I had, heard of soulmate and things like that, but had absolutely no idea that this has anything to do with life, with who we are, with reality, with realizing anything. So I come to find out after it all happened that my experience really kind of follows the twin flame stories. Now, I don't know how many people have actually gone through the twin flame experience and come out to the end of non-duality. But from what I understand, that is if there was a goal, or if there is a linear beginning and end, which we know it isn't. But if there was, and in the story of our life, it does appear that way. So it wouldn't be right for me to dismiss that, because it does occur. It doesn't really occur once you realize what's happening. It doesn't really occur. It doesn't really matter. There's actually no point to me making this video or speaking to anyone. But as it appears, we are here on this universe, on this planet, and we are experiencing this, the majority of people. So, because of that, I'd like to share that with you here on this channel. I do find it important for if a speaker is willing or wants to speak, to show more of what really is happening here. For those that don't understand what non-duality is, it can also be a little bit unsafe for people to have ideas that once there is no self, there's no taking care of oneself or doing anything. Although it is realized that whatever happens with that person or that character is just what happens. I mean, that is ultimately the truth. But people that haven't had a direct experience can misunderstand, and it can cause a lot more stress and neurosis than needs to happen. So my goal in this channel is trying to open that up and relax some of that and show what I think a lot of speakers aren't showing. Okay, so I hope that you'll subscribe to my channel. You can subscribe by clicking the subscribe and then the little notification bell, so you can be notified when I make videos. I will be ending this video here, and then I will have another video that I'm about to make right now. I just don't want it to be, a super long video. So my next video is going to be kind of about the impermanence of things, or our plans, and how those things go in our life. So welcome, and I hope you'll join me through the non-dual happenings, and that this will be a space that we can discuss, and, well, not discuss, but somehow communicate what the true reality is, and that it resonates with you. So thank you, and I'm going to make the next video. If you're still interested in that, click on my next video, and I will be sharing a little bit about the crazy non-dual happenings that happen. Thank you.